I've been tapping into the inner child or the child that I was way back when. I've been revisiting my habits and what I connected with, the things that I love to do. When you didn't think, you just were, right? Who you were before the conditioning, before you were told to be a certain way. And one major theme of my childhood and my life in general is I was always misunderstood. And I say misunderstood with air quotes around it. I was always getting in trouble for something if I said or did something that was a little weird or unexpected when I genuinely had no ill intentions. So I began to think that if I explained myself better, I wouldn't be punished. And I always thought maybe next time I'm in trouble, I would do this differently, or maybe if I strung my words together better, the outcome wouldn't be as bad, right? And eventually that bled into how I handled interactions with people outside of my family. I placed the pressure of the outcome of the interaction or the conflict on myself. I started to bear the blame for why things didn't work out on myself. But looking back, I realized it was all manipulation. I was being willfully misinterpreted. With some people, there's never a right answer. And it's not your responsibility to appease and give them what you think is the right answer. Other people, they just want to be babied. They want a people pleaser in their corner to tell them, no, 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 it's okay. And most of the time, it will never be good enough. It is your responsibility to speak your truth. And if they don't like it, hit the bricks, bitch. Once you let go of the people pleasing, you might think you're losing the people you're trying to please, but you're gaining your freedom, a happiness that you wouldn't have had if you spent so much precious time and energy you'll never get back catering to their every whim. Your truth is about you. That's why it's called your truth, right? Instead of chasing approval, embrace the reality that some people will intentionally, and I mean intentionally, misinterpret you no matter what. Focus on what matters the most above all, your peace. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Vividly Vocal with your host, Aeryana, aka Aery or Aery Blue, whatever's easiest for you. And if you are new here, hello, you beautiful soul, and welcome to the podcast for discussions and advice for all walks of life. Vividly Vocal is where we explore life's lessons, laugh through the chaos, and embrace every journey with heart and soul. I'm your host, Aeryana, here to dive into conversations that matter with a little wit, a lot of wisdom, and a sprinkle of fun. This is your space to feel seen, heard, and inspired. So let's get into it. Have y'all ever seen that tweet that says, Twitter is the only place where well articulated sentences still get misinterpreted? You can say, I like pancakes, and somebody will say, so you hate waffles? No, bitch. That's a whole new sentence. What the fuck is you talking about? People really think like that in real life, and it's so scary, for lack of a better term. It's disappointing, really. When I turned 15, I got to high school and the switch kind of flipped in me. I wasn't out to please anyone anymore. I had my core group of friends and I didn't need anything more than that. I had some other stuff going at home. Since that was the time I basically ran away from home, I didn't want any more bullshit on my plate. But honey, it's high school, and high school gonna serve you some bullshit if nothing else. In hindsight, I can only explain it as I had to appease people, such as my parents, because my survival depended on it. And now, as I am in high school, I don't have to do any of that with you outside people. I don't need your validation. And that's one thing I'm trying to reconnect with about myself when I was 15 because I was so myself, if that makes sense. Confidence is very quiet, but it's very loud. When you enter a room, your confidence speaks volumes for you. Back straight, head up, I would just walk across the room and go to where I'm supposed to be sitting at or whatever in school. And it would make people so angry that I wouldn't go out of my way to talk to them or ease their worries. I was a quiet kid, and people take offense to that because they interpret that as disrespect or that they don't have value. It makes them feel insecure. So, story time, let me lay it out for you. I hope it makes sense. My very first boyfriend, when I was in ninth grade, He came from a very strange family. He was a grade above me, and he had a sister that was a grade above him. So his sister is 2 grades ahead of me. We were all in the cult organization called ROTC that I told y'all about. Keep in the back of your mind that their mom was a helicopter mom, and I don't know what for. They were dumb as hell. Like, if you're gonna be a helicopter mom, at least make sure they pass in their classes, you know what I mean? I guess that would be a tiger mom if she were on them about their grades, but I digress. The mom didn't have anything else to do, so she did snacks and stuff for when we'd have competitions. So she'd set up the food and just float around. And at the beginning, me and his older sister became friends first before I started dating him. And we liked the same anime and stuff, so we texted and bonded back and forth, just girly things. And then I met her brother, and he really took a liking to me. So I guess the sister blessed our union. And somewhere along the line, I don't know where, she starts acting real funny with me. And she has a big problem that's growing and growing and growing. And I was just like, I don't understand, but that's unfortunate. It is what it is. I lost a friend. Now I'm going to move on with my life. She's her own person. You don't have to fuck with me if you don't want to. And I just wasn't going around her anymore because why would I immerse myself in bad energy? Why would I immerse myself around someone that clearly doesn't like me? But a lot of people do that. A lot of people like to keep the mask on, keep the fake games going, but I was never like that. I was still seeing her brother because that was my little boyfriend or my little friend, as the parents like to say. And one thing about him, he was messy. He gossiped like a bitch. But apparently, the sister's main issue with me was that her brother liked me too much. Apparently, he was obsessed with me, and it really bothered his sister. First of all, the relationship dynamics of a boyfriend girlfriend and brother sister are very very different. So that's number 1, but we're not going to get into how weird that is. And me and him had a very unorthodox relationship. It wasn't the high school puppy love like y'all would think, like y'all would see in the movies. We didn't go on dates or anything. We barely spoke outside of school. And the times we met outside of school, we were being monitored by his sister. I had been to his house maybe 3 times for like parties or something, always when people were present. And we didn't talk for a whole summer because he didn't have a phone. And the times he did have a phone, his mom would sporadically like take his phone. So all we would do was just hold hands in the hallways between classes and we would talk at ROTC practice. And that was basically it. So essentially, I couldn't see how him liking me too much was my problem. So I didn't give a damn. Me and him barely spoke. So what does that have to do with me? And how am I interfering in your relationship with your own brother? Y'all be at home together all the time, don't y'all? So what's the problem? So I didn't really respond. I just kept going about my life. I allowed myself to be misunderstood. Now, I was very young and was not able to advocate for myself in such a toxic situation because this boy came from a very dysfunctional household, even more than mine. I didn't want to fuck with it. I didn't want to touch it. I kept it cute. I don't know what happened in the background, but she started talking mad shit. The dialogue was dialoguing, and the mom was in the mix too. So, according to them, I was this enchanting temptress, hypnotizing the precious son of this family. My hips didn't lie. I was a siren luring this boy to his death. I was out to destroy the family. And at some point, I just blocked the sister on Facebook because you're not about to be all nasty to me in public and remain friends with me, whether that be online or real life. And this was like 2014, 2015 ish. And I didn't think blocking was as visceral or permanent or as big of a deal as it was now. I wasn't chronically on Facebook. So I didn't think she would notice at the time because I was like, who spends all their time on Facebook looking at people's profiles and stuff? I barely post anyway. She won't even notice. And I was like, she don't fuck with me. So, I mean, she shouldn't be mad about it. That was my reasoning. Pretty sound logic to me. But she knew probably that same night or the very next morning. Because, of course, I've come to learn they're always watching when they hate you. The very next morning, I get to school and my little boyfriend, he tells me about it. And guess what? I don't give a damn. We can take it there. That's one thing I will give to myself in the past. I was not going to bend. I was going to stay true to myself. I was stubborn, honey. Meanwhile, while all this is brewing and happening, the mom talking mad shit too. And my boyfriend is telling me what she's saying. He was messy as hell, like a hoe. that she doesn't like me. I'm cheating on him when he's not around. I'm a hoe, etc., etc. These things always follow a script. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I'm not fucking with this crazy ass lady. You can have that. Okay? I'm not letting this lady that's 20 years older than me bully me into submission. So I stopped talking to mom. I stopped saying hi to mom. I stopped going around there. Because, lady, why do you want me to kiss your ass when you already have this preconceived notion about me? I don't care. I refused to appease neither the sister nor the mom. And they were enraged because basically I disrespected the whole family by not taking part in the circus. And it just got more and more dysfunctional. He started coming to school with his eyes all red and shit, trying to charge me up about what his mom and his sister made up about me. And to make a long story short, I broke up with him one day. You know how it gets real dramatic when you're a teenager. I said something like, I want you out of my life and I never want to see you again. And he left and he came back to school the next day and he told me he tried to hang himself from the ceiling fan, but I knew he was lying because if he were serious, he would choose something more sturdy. And number two, trying to paint the image of your fat ass dangling from a ceiling fan is not believable. Go back to the drawing board on that one. Take it back to the writer's room. From then on, he would follow me throughout the hallways. He got a new girlfriend and he would try to make me jealous. Like he would follow me with this stupid bitch. He was holding her hand. She's just as bad as him. I don't feel bad for her. She was holding his hand. They were holding hands and he would follow me throughout the hallways in between classes, trying to taunt and jeer me and emotionally manipulate me into feeling bad. But I didn't. I got another boyfriend. So, anyway, deep down, I knew how people like them worked. I knew there was no winning, so to speak. And I wasn't going to allow them to manipulate me mentally into being their entertainment on the latest episode of I'm in Love with My Brother. They were bored as hell. Why don't y'all go argue with a fucking job or the ring around your tub? I was like, my family might be a lot of things, but at least my mom has her own life to not get involved in kid shit. And for that, I was grateful. Is this episode too long or do y'all want to hear another story? I'll make it quick. I was 23. My friend introduced me to her friend trying to make a friend group. And y'all got to stop doing that shit, especially when you don't know how other people will react to your other people. Energies get to mixing, one can't handle the other, and it all crashes. If y'all didn't meet in a friend context as the group already formed, then you're better off not doing it. Okay, she's trying to get us together, get us to meet, because, oh, I like you and I like you, so I think y'all should be friends. Over phone and over text, we had, good energy, laughs, and good vibes. I'm optimistic. So we meet for dinner and drinks, the whole shebang and get acquainted. Nice to meet you and all that. And I think the night goes well. I thought it went well. I had a nice time. And I leave to go home. And I hear from my friend, the one that's in the middle, the person she introduced me to said that I didn't open up, didn't seem to enjoy myself, had a look on my face the whole time. And y'all, if the beginnings of any kind of relationship, friendship, romantic is so rocky and difficult, it's not meant to be. It's not worth it. And I was asking her to explain. She couldn't explain because who knows this person's point of view. I let it go and kept it cute. And as time went on, everything I did was bothering this person. If I didn't compliment her on this, if I texted the group chat at this time instead of that time, they were seeking a problem with me. They repeatedly fabricated a misunderstanding for me to fix. It was a lot of back and forth to where I'm like, this new person is clearly mentally unstable. My friend approaches me with another grievance from this third party. Now, this third party wasn't enough to address these things to my face, mind you. And she said, I don't think Aery likes me. It would be nice if she could offer me some reassurance and tell me she does. And immediately, I interrupted her sentence. I was like, I'm not doing that because now I can see where all this is coming from. I'm not appeasing someone that is going out of their way to have a problem with me. You're not going to use me to feel better about your own insecurities because at the end of the day, that's all this is. If you're so offended, that's one thing I never understood about people. If you're so offended by the things I do, then why don't you leave me the fuck alone? The other times I reassured you and allowed things to be water under the bridge, but clearly we don't mesh well. Let's go our separate ways and leave it at that. Okay, boom. Needless to say, that was a big fucking deal. I was every name in the book, honey. Then my friend in the middle eventually realized how unstable the third party was, and she cut her off too. Anyway, all this to say, let go of the people pleasing. Not everyone deserves an explanation because a lot of times people know what the fuck they be doing to you. They know what they did to you and they want to be coddled for doing it. It drains your precious energy. Think of all the times you catered to people who weren't worth catering to. Were you happier for it? Or did you temporarily appease them and they had another big issue 2 days later? Set yourself free, my sweet little pod pals. You won't regret it. I promise you. What I want to know from you guys, my sweet little pod pals, why do you think people are so quick to judge or misinterpret others? What is your take on that? Is it personal dissatisfaction? What is it? What do you think it is? Please be very vividly vocal in the comments. Also, please let me know if you enjoyed this episode or can relate or want to talk about something you haven't seen anyone talk about yet. Please subscribe to Vividly Vocal if you are on YouTube or if you would like to take Vividly Vocal on the go. Vividly Vocal is available on all podcast platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and so many more. Please follow us on your preferred platform and please give the show a 5-star rating and type why you love Vividly Vocal so much. I appreciate y'all as always. Anyway, I hope you all are well. I'm doing okay. I think I'm going to go on a little solo date tonight. I might go to dinner or see a movie. There's a lot of good movies out in theaters. There's The Substance, which I've heard really good things about. And then there's that vampire movie with that vampire man with that big dangling I've been hearing about. What is it called? Nosferatu? Yeah, I might go see that too. A little freak action. Excuse me, can I see you dangling, brother? I mean, juggle your balls like the Wrangling brothers. Hey. The freaks come out at night. Hey, the freaks come out at night. But remember on the last episode, I said that season 3 might start within the next couple episodes. I think it will, but I just need to, sit down and decide what's going to be the first episode of season 3. I don't know. We'll figure it out as we go, like usual. But thank you guys so much for watching, for listening, for subscribing, following, and liking. This has been your host, Aeryana, and I will see you on the next one, you guys. Bye.